Good evening, and welcome to the Churchlands Music Department Senior Concert. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alfie.
And as the music captains, we will be emceeing the concert this evening.
A special welcome to our principal, Mr. Neil Hunt, associate principals, Mr. Haggart Boyajin, Mr. Janie Long, and Miss Deborah Hoy, and our heads of year 11 and 12, Mr. Paul Seawick and Miss Kim Lachesi. I will now read the acknowledgement to country. I respectfully acknowledge the past and present traditional custodians of this land on which we are meeting this evening, the Noongar people. It is a privilege to be standing on Noongar country. I also acknowledge the contributions of Aboriginal Australians and non-Aboriginal Australians to the education of all children and people in this country we all live and share together, Australia.
Wind Orchestra One's first piece this evening, The Witch and the Saint, is the story of German twin sisters born in 1588. As the twins grew up, it became clear that they had the gift of second sight and could predict future events. One sister, Sibylla, was feared as a witch. The other sister, Helena, was sent to a convent as a child, where she was revered as a saint. Sibylla is imprisoned, and Helena comes to her rescue. As they are trying to escape, they are captured again, and for fear of being burnt at the stake, Helena drinks poison and dies in Sibylla's arm.
What a lovely way to start the program. The second piece is entitled Safely Rest and is a newly arrangement based on Amazing Grace and Taps, the American Last Post. Wind One will conclude their performance tonight with Country Gardens by Percy Grainger and arranged by Sousa, one you will all recognise.
We hope you enjoy the performance. Please welcome their first director to the stage, Miss Caron Walker. Instrumental teachers are an integral part of the Churchlands Senior High School music program. Without their skillful guidance, none of us would be here tonight making music. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our esteemed trumpet teacher, Mr. Adam Hawksworth, to the stage for our inaugural teacher-student interview. Welcome, Mr. Hawksworth. Hi, Mr. Hawksworth. It's a pleasure to have you up here.
Hello, Miss Chappell. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I'd like to start off by asking you, when and where did you begin to learn the trumpet?
So I started learning the cornet actually in New Zealand, where I'm from. And so I started in a brass band in a little town in New Zealand, and then we moved over to Perth. And then I auditioned for a scholarship to Churchlands and came through the music program myself and started in 1988 and finished in 92.
That's awesome. Yeah. And what influenced you to become an instrumental teacher?
Ooh, that one took a little while. So when I finished at Churchlands, I went to Whopper and started a performance degree and then finished my degree at UWA and then worked as a freelance orchestral trumpet player for a few years and worked in the private sector at UWA. And I think it was once we had children and things and I needed to get a bit more sort of stable job, and I went to Mr. Harriman and said I'd love to do some teaching, and I ended up taking over from my trumpet teacher. So I started at Churchlands in Perth Mod in 2001, and yeah, it was the best decision I've ever made because I absolutely love it, and it's been a huge part of my life for over 20 years now.
Fantastic. And I've heard the principal trumpeter of Wasso, who is currently Ben Grapes, that you played a certain role in his career, I guess?
Actually, I don't think I had much of a role with helping with him, but actually my wife taught him in Year 9 at Perth Mod, and I ended up teaching Brent in second year of university at UWA, and he was already an amazing player. He was extremely dedicated, he was extremely passionate about music, so he was well on the way, and then after that he obviously went to the Juilliard and is now principal trumpeter of the WA Symphony, but he's an incredible musician, but more importantly he's just a wonderful human being.
And speaking of your career, what has been a memorable moment?
A memorable moment? There's been a few. Actually, there was a really memorable moment a few years ago. I had a student at Perth Mod a long time ago who was a right pain in the bum. He did no practice, and he told me so. And I said, I won't mention his name, and I said, mate, we've got to do some work here. And he said, ooh, I'm probably going to quit anyway. But he finished Year 12, got through to music, and then decided to go to university. And for some reason, he decided to do music. And I said, and then I ended up having to teach him for the first year. And I said, mate, what's going on? He then decided to pull his finger out. And then a few years ago, I was playing second trumpet with Wazzo doing the Pines of Rome, and he was playing first trumpet off stage. And that was the most bizarre and surreal moment for me. And it actually taught me a valuable lesson because it sort of made me realise that sometimes kids just take a bit longer and never to give up on a student. And that was a very special moment that he was playing above me. And there's nothing better than an ex-student that becomes a colleague that then becomes a great mate. So that was something really special. And the other one for me actually would have been the alumni concert recently. So that was something really special, to be playing with ex-students, current students, being conducted by my wife, in the orchestra with my kids, so that was something really special too.
Awesome. And putting music aside, what is something you love to do in your spare time?
My spare time. My spare time is taken up with driving my kids to rehearsals, driving my son to basketball, feeding my son. But when I do get some spare time, I love nothing more than going to the beach with the kids. And I think the thing that I enjoy most is getting out on the road with a family road trip. So
awesome.
Getting down south, camping trips or travelling around the country. So that's something special to me.
That is great. So as we see chamber getting up. I'm just going to ask you some rapid-fire questions to
Okay.
finish. So firstly, Medams or Trig?
Ooh, coffee's better at Medams at yellow, but probably Trig.
Okay, Trig. Mahler or Tchaikovsky?
Mahler.
Broom or Esperance?
What are we talking? For the surf, Esperance. For the warm weather, Broom.
Okay, Tupperware or Pyrex?
Thanks to my darling daughter Alice, we have as little plastic as possible, so I'd have to go Pyrex.
Okay, and finally, viola, cello or percussion?
Oh God.
Just joking, you don't have to answer that one. Thank you so much
Trumpet.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be
Thank
interviewed.
you.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
And one other thing, can I just say congratulations to both you and Alfie. You guys have made fantastic music captains this year, and you've done so much to the music program, so well done to both of you and to all the Year 12s.
Our next ensemble is the Chamber Orchestra, which consists of advanced string players from years 9 to 12 and rehearse once a week with their director, Anne Hanrahan.
They will be playing the first movement from Vivaldi's Concerto in A minor. It will feature Soloists Zander, Thexeira and Myra. Following this, they will perform Élégie from Tchaikovsky's Serenade for strings. Please welcome them to the stage.
Thank you, Chamber Orchestra. Next week, we will have our junior and intermediate concerts, with the intermediate concert on Wednesday evening and the junior concerts on Thursday evening. Whilst I'm sure you were dazzled by the amazing talent tonight, all the hard work is done by the junior groups in lower and middle school. A number of Year 11 and 12 students have attended the junior ensembles as mentors, just being generally very inspiring and amazing leaders for our younger musicians. It has reminded us of just how far we have come as musicians over the last 6 years in our time here at Churchlands. Please consider attending these concerts to support our upcoming musical leaders of the future. Chorale is not the only choir at Churchlands where choristers must audition to become a member. Most of the students are not voice students, yet choose to come to another early morning rehearsal so that they can join like-minded musicians who enjoy tackling more difficult repertoire, and despite what some may think, they have fun doing it too.
Jabberwocky by Sam Pottle borrows its lyrics from the poem of the same name, which features in Lewis Carroll's novel Through the Looking Glass. You may remember this piece from the 50th anniversary concert. Mrs. Hopwood's suggestion that there may be sick of singing it was met with howls and shouts of protest, as they insisted they get to sing it again for you this evening. This humorous, nonsensical poem describes the life and death of the Jabberwock. Listen out for Carroll's other extraordinary creatures, including the frumious bandersnatch, the jub-jub bird, and the slithy toads.
From one mythical creature to the next. Your Welcome was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda for the 2016 Disney movie Moana. The character Maui boasts about the remarkable things he has done for humans. This demigod of the South Pacific legend is boastful, boisterous, and mischievous, much like many of our Year 12 chorale members.
Please welcome our chorale and their first conductor, Mrs. Mirelle Hopwood, to the stage.
Thank you, Caron. Birdland started this term by learning new repertoire after the 50th anniversary concert. We worked hard in a short few weeks to get 3 new charts up to performance standard for the Jazz Festival. We performed very well and received valuable feedback from the New York-based adjudicators Jerome Jennings and Vince Gardner. Tonight we will play 2 of those pieces with the intention of putting the feedback into practice.
Their first piece is a chart that they rehearsed in Term 1 but never performed. It is a classic big band chart from the pen of Sammy Nestico for the Count Basie band called Splanky. It has a catchy, bluesy melody that is interspersed with some solos from our Year 12s and a powerful singing shout chorus from the ensemble.
Black Butterfly is a beautiful, slow swing tune composed by Duke Ellington. In this piece, we will look to capture a sweet, swinging style that is reminiscent of the early jazz played in the mid-1930s. It features a delightful baritone sax solo by Sharia Narath before giving away to a gorgeous trombone solo that is sensitively handled by our very sensitive trombonist, Mitch Gregg.
The final chart, Group Dynamics, is a change of pace, a crowd pleaser, and one the band enjoys playing with the boundless enthusiasm and energy of an out-of-control puppy. Sounding similar to the fusion style of the Pat Metheny group, it has an interesting harmonic framework with catchy melodies that the band enjoys playing. It features solos from the tenor sax and guitar before an unbridled avalanche of drumming, which ushers in the end of the chart. We hope you enjoy Birdland's performance. Please welcome them and their director, Mr. Andre Borgo, to the stage. Tonight, the Symphony Orchestra will be playing two pieces. The first piece, A Night on Bald Mountain, was written by Mussorgsky and arranged by Rimsky-Korsakov. Mussorgsky was a composer with a reputation. While studying at military school, his school's director actually encouraged his students to drink, and it is here where his problems with alcohol began. His alcoholism would mean he was often unreliable, suffered depression and isolation, and found it difficult to complete any of his pieces.
A Night on Bald Mountain describes the witch's Sabbath occurring on St. John's Eve and coinciding with the summer solstice. It has bone-chilling elements, including sinister bass drum rolls and descending chromatic passages that sound like slithering serpents. It builds into a dance frenzy of witches dancing before the tolling of the church bell 12 times, where the darkness finally disperses.
The second piece, Highlights from Jurassic Park, was in the top 10 of this year's ABC Classic 100 Music for the Screen. John Williams described his scoring as trying to capture the awesome beauty of dinosaurs in nature. Just as there are many different dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, so too are there many species of Year 12 musos performing today. The Year 12 raptors who are eager to run into rehearsals, keen to make a start. The Brontosaurus Year 12 muso who comes lumbering in at 7:45 a.m. and the pterodactyl muso flying in at the last minute, hoping the conductors don't notice.
Please welcome Mr. Harriman and Miss Sims to the stage.
Crikey! There's a T-Rex on the loose. Better round him up before he causes any more trouble. Oi! You! Close up! Calm down.
Miss Hanrahan has been at Churchlands Senior High School for many years and teaches Year 12 composition and music literature, as well as conducting the prestigious chamber orchestra. I'd like to welcome Miss Hanrahan to the stage for the second inaugural student-teacher interview. Welcome, Miss Hanny. So, Miss Hanny, I've heard your career has weaved in and out of music. Could you tell us a little bit more about your life prior to Churchlands?
Yes, it's been a very circuitous route to teaching, music teaching. I started off by going to uni to do music after I left school, but never had any intention of teaching. Both my parents were teachers, and being quite a rebellious person, I vowed that I would never ever be a teacher. And so I did 3 years at UWA, and then I shifted and went to Melbourne for a few years. And I sort of lost my way a little bit, and I thought that I would come back to Perth and do something that would get me a proper job. So I did a law degree. Worked for a little bit as a lawyer, ended up teaching at the law school at UWA, where I started to sort of reconsider the notion of teaching, and then, but didn't really do anything about it. And it was actually taking up the cello later on in life that took me or led me back to music. I had always wanted to learn the cello, but had never had the opportunity. And so I started and ended up at WAPA for 3 years, and by the time that had finished, I'd sort of made up my mind that I would sort of have a go at teaching. So I did a dip-ed, and I guess the rest is history. I came to Churchlands in 2007, and I've been here ever since.
We're so glad you made the decision to come and teach with us. So after your prestigious career, what was the main factor that led you to become a high school teacher?
I think it was just that while I was doing law, I really missed music, but didn't really want to go into music teaching as such. And I think being at WAPA, I saw some really good teachers. I was also introduced to the Kodai approach to learning oral, which I found just pretty amazing. So it's just a combination of factors, I guess, which prompted me to do the dip-ed.
Awesome. So you started Churchlands in 2007. What has been your most, the highlight of your time here?
I think probably an ongoing highlight is taking the chamber orchestra. When I took up the cello, it just opened up the whole world of string playing to me. I've always loved string music, and the opportunity to just meet with this wonderful bunch of kids, wacky, funny, but very committed every week, and play glorious string repertoire has just been an absolute treat for me.
And following on from that, is there a highlight from your entire career that you'd like to share?
I guess when I did piano first, a highlight, well, one of the most exciting things that I guess ever happened to me was that I played a Stravinsky concerto with the Wazzo, and then later on with the Melbourne Symphony. So that was very exciting.
That is amazing. Yeah. And last sort of longer question, what do you get up to in your spare time?
Not a lot of that at the moment, but I guess I spend time with family, I read, I do crosswords, I walk, and I guess as I approach retirement, I'm thinking about other things that I could do, like photography. I bought myself a camera last year, and I've been playing around with that. So yeah, lots of different irons in the fire. Yep.
Fantastic. And lastly, because it looks like fretwork is almost set up, we're going to do some rapid questions. So I'm going to ask you this or that, and you have to choose which one you prefer. So coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Romantic era or Baroque?
Baroque.
Broom or Esperance?
Broom.
Chamber or symphony?
Chamber.
And on pizza, do you have pineapple or no pineapple?
Don't eat pizza.
Oh. Stay from that controversial question. Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Hanny. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, now, it's not quite a word from our sponsor, but a advertising anyway. This is a request from the tour committee, the 2023 Music Tour Committee. They still have some roles to fill, and this is particularly targeted at those parents who've got children who have signed up for the tour. We're still looking for a treasurer, a secretary and database coordinator, that's easier than it sounds, quiz night coordinator, and somebody to oversee the general category of small fundraisers. As well as that, just people who can put up their hand to help out in general ways with the various committees. So if you are one of the music parents who are as involved with the tour, please have a look at the emails that the tour committee have sent out and see what you can do to help. The more we do early, the easier it is when we get closer to the takeoff date. Okay, and now before we introduce the guitars, at the anniversary concert, I missed the opportunity to showcase this marvellous group of exceptional guitarists and I'm going to acknowledge the disappointment felt by those students and their parents. So this is a group who were outstanding at their guitar festival just this last Sunday. So when they come on, please give them an extra warm welcome. But now, back to our regularly scheduled music captains. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the concert.
Maestro Andres Segova described the guitar as a miniature orchestra, not because of its volume, but because of the possibilities of the instrument. Fretwork 1 comprises some of Churchlands Senior High School's most skilled guitarists and play repertoire ranging from classical and folk music arrangements to new contemporary Australian music written for guitar ensemble.
Modern-day composers writing for the guitar have found ways to include other effects, including many types of percussion sounds, as will be featured in tonight's performance. Tonight, Fretwork 1 will play an arrangement of a work by Carl Jenkins, Palladio, Moria by the Gypsy Kings, an arrangement or recomposition of an old Irish song, The Green Glens of Gweedore, by Paul Swoboda. Please welcome Fretwork 1 and their director, Mr. Richard Lenz, to the stage.
Sarah Bareilles said about her song, "The idea behind Kaleidoscope Heart is that we're all sort of in pieces and broken bits on the inside, but somehow, when you look through them, you still see something beautiful and colourful and magical." To Miss Chesney and Senior Choir, this song also has a message of acceptance, that while we are all before you in our music uniform which unites us, we are all made up of many colours, many stories, and many pieces that will continue to evolve throughout our lives. We hope that you feel the sense of optimism in this song and hope for a future of acceptance for everyone. And to quote the title of our next song, "We're still standing." We've been through some pretty tough times, missing out on music tour, lockdowns, teachers and students coming and going with COVID, exams, tests, more exams, and we're still here. We feel the message in this song accurately describes our experience over the last few years. We hope you enjoy our version of this fabulously fun song by Elton John, "I'm Still Standing."
Never know what it
Thank you, Mrs. Gregg and Mrs. Hopwood, our colleagues in the senior choir, and Martina Leggett. And thank you, our audience. Sorry, that was Mrs. Hawksworth and Miss Chesney. But also thank you to Miss Gregg and Miss Hopwood. And thank you, our audience, for coming together for our senior concert. You may now choose your own adventure. Leave now or stay and watch the drama unfold as the Year 12s take to the stage for the annual Make Fun of the Music Teachers skit, which are going to be good this year. So as you leave, good night and safe travels, but there will be a 5-minute break so you can, do what you need to do. Thank you.